Okay, so that's a pretty bold claim, right? Become fluent by 2026, and you get to do it without those vocab lists that, let's be honest, we all absolutely hate. Today, we're going to break down a method that says you can do just that. Let's dive in.
Seriously, think about it. Have you ever spent months or maybe even years studying a new language? You go to say something, and it just comes out sounding, well, robotic. You know the words, you know the grammar, but you just can't shake that feeling that you sound completely unnatural. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely in the right place.
And you know, that exact feeling, it actually has a name. We're calling it the stiff robot problem. It's that awkward, frustrating gap between knowing all the rules of a language and actually speaking it like a real person.
And look, this method, it does not pull any punches. The whole idea is that you're not just sounding a little off, you're actively using phrases that a native speaker would probably never, ever say. It's kind of harsh, but you know what? It gets right to the heart of the issue. And here is the perfect picture of that disconnect. On one side, you've got these perfectly grammatical, super formal phrases you learned from a book. But on the other side, you've got the shortcuts, the slang, the real rhythm of an actual conversation. That's the gap we need to close. So, and this is so important, please hear this. This is not your fault. You've been putting in the hours, you've been grinding away at the flashcards. The problem isn't that you're not trying hard enough. The problem is that the entire system you've probably been using is designed to turn you into a walking dictionary, not a fluent, natural speaker.
But what if there was a way to just bypass that whole broken system? Well, that brings us to what the source material calls a language cheat code. Basically a shortcut to get you to real fluency a whole lot faster.
And here it is. It's called the child method. Just think about it for a second. How did you learn your first language? You didn't sit down with grammar books and verb conjugation charts, right? No, you just listened to the people around you. You copied the sounds they made, and you said things over and over and over again. This whole method is about tapping back into that completely natural, intuitive way of learning.
And this right here, this is the fundamental shift in thinking. The goal is not to become some super fast human translator, constantly converting thoughts from your native language into the new one. No. The real goal, the secret sauce, is to train your brain to form thoughts directly in the target language from the get-go.
Okay, so you might be wondering, how do I actually do this? Well, this next section has a title that, it might raise a few eyebrows, but trust me, this is where the theory gets put into practice. It's called Talk Like a Lunatic. It all breaks down into 4 really concrete steps. First, you've got to listen intensely. That means you're actively absorbing the rhythm and the flow of the language. Second, imitate fearlessly. Just copy the accents, the tones, without being embarrassed. Third, repeat constantly. You got to build those pathways in your brain. And then there's the last one, and it's probably the most important of all. Narrate your life. This is the absolute core of the practice. You have to talk to yourself all the time. Describe what you're doing, what you're seeing, what you're thinking, and you do it all out loud in your target language. I am walking to the kitchen. I am opening the refrigerator now. I am looking for the milk. Yes, you are absolutely going to feel a little crazy doing it, but what you're really doing is forcing your brain to build sentences and think on its feet in real time.
So once you actually ditch those old stuffy methods and you fully embrace this, let's call it unconventional approach, what does the destination actually look like? Let's bring it all together and really map out your path to fluency.
And here we are right back at that big promise from the very beginning, 2026. This isn't just some random year pulled out of a hat. It's meant to be a tangible, achievable goal. The idea is that if you consistently apply this method, real conversational fluency isn't just possible, it's something you can actually achieve on a specific timeline.
All right, so let's just quickly recap the game plan here. First, you've got to ditch the textbooks as your only source of truth. Next, you have to fully embrace imitation. That's your #1 tool. Then, you narrate everything to make the language a constant part of your daily life. And finally, what's the ultimate goal? To stop being that stiff robot and to start speaking like a real, actual human being.
Which, of course, leaves us with one last question. This whole method, it requires you to let go of your inhibitions, to be okay with sounding a little silly, and maybe even to talk to yourself in public once in a while. It's definitely unconventional, but it might just be the exact cheat code you've been looking for. So, are you ready to become a fluent lunatic?